Hello, I'm Jose, and this is the Cinematic Dogma podcast. I'm joined by my highly awarded friend, Blake, as every week.
You make me feel like the prettiest girl at the ball. I feel like I haven't won that many awards, but I'll take it.
Maybe you only won the important ones. That at the end is what matters.
All right.
But yeah, so talking about the award, I think that this is like the end of the award season, no? Or I think that the Oscars always represent like the end of all of the award cycle of the year, of the previous year.
I'm guessing you're right. Are there any more that are coming? Like any smaller ones, or are we done? We're done for the year?
I think that we're done. Yeah.
All right.
Is that we're done, is that this is like the way of closing 2024. It's like now we are officially in 2025.
Hell yeah. I'm happy to be done.
Yep. Yeah, because 2025 is going to be so much better than 2024. But in any case, we're here to talk, complete our bonus episode with a bit of a reaction to the Oscars, or a discussion of the main categories that we predicted a couple of days ago.
So what did you think about the Oscars, Jose?
About the ceremony in itself?
With the award, did you like who they went to?
I was a bit disappointed. Being Conan O'Brien, the host, I thought that it was going to be like super funny and engaging. And I felt that the audience was super awkward with half of the jokes, that they didn't land at all. And I felt a bit, how do you say? Like when you feel same for other person? Not same, but it's like you feel like awkward for how awkward the other person may feel. Yeah, exactly. You know, I feel like, I don't know if Conan O'Brien is ever going to try to host again.
I like Conan O'Brien a lot. I think he's a funny dude. And I've never understood the distinction between television and film, with like film being more prestigious. But watching that podcast, I was like, these are jokes for TV. They don't translate to film. Like, that's how I felt. It was a bummer. I didn't think Conan was a great host. And I have always wanted to watch Amy Poehler and Tina Fey host the Oscars, but now I'm like, oh, maybe they're TV people too, and it wouldn't work. I don't know.
Well, but the funny thing is, they actually hosted the Golden Globes multiple times.
Yeah, but the Golden Globes recognize television, don't they?
And also movies. They also recognize the best musicals and best dramas of the year.
Yeah, but half of the audience is TV people. There were no TV people there last night.
Oh, I see what you mean. That is a bit more like the audience didn't connect with Conan.
Yeah.
Because it comes more like from the TV mentality. That's so interesting. I mean, I would like to just look back into who are the most prestigious hosts in the last 30 years. Because the last Oscar, I think that the best movie was presented by Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal. And Billy Crystal presented like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, like a lot, right?
Cinema. Yeah. And he's like, I don't know, his humor at least connected well. Because he presented so many times, I guess that he was doing it okay.
People are going to kill me for this, but I feel like Billy Crystal's comedy is just lowest common denominator. Let's watch somebody trip and fall over. That's funny.
Maybe that's what that period of time required from comedy and from a host.
Yep, could be.
I don't know. But in any case, one of the most interesting things is like, of course, the Oscars are always going to run long. Regardless if Adrian Brody wins an Oscar or not, spoiler alert, is that they're always going to run long. But this year, I think that it was more egregious, that it was the first year that they were simulcasting on Hulu. And I had the feeling that because of lasted so much longer than they expected, they had like a hard cut at 7:30 Pacific time, I think that it was.
Yeah.
And they just unilaterally decided, this is over. We are done. Oh, they're going to be awarded like Best Actress and Best Movie. We don't care. We are done.
That was really bizarre. I was streaming it on Hulu. You were watching it on broadcast TV, right? ABC?
No. It's like after you and I were talking, I was watching it on Network TV and I moved back to watch it on Hulu.
Oh, you did?
Until it actually just like cut, immediately cut, and we jump immediately to ABC.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, that I'm super confused because it's streaming. It's not like they had to fit into a little window. It's just like whatever.
I think that they were a bit afraid of leaving content that it was not approved for being on Hulu.
Well,
Something bizarre, It's. I had a feeling that there's a bit of a problem of simulcast, and probably they were like replacing ads on the fly. I think that even in our streaming, we were having like some Chicago content. There was also like a big surprise about like, so you guys are replacing the ads with local ads for the streaming? That I'm surprised, but okay, it works.
I have a day job as a marketer, and most marketers don't bother like stepping into streaming ads, and like it's like what? Who's watching that? Like, there's no point in localizing those ads anyway. Yeah, it was a weird experience.
Yeah, I think that it was like, okay, I'm happy that they're catching up with the times. Now, for being the first time that they're doing this, is that they sabotage themselves pretty hard.
Yep. What a pity.
So, yep. But yeah, should we actually go over the winners?
Let's do it.
Say
what an interesting night it was for the awards.
I had to say that I'm surprised that I agreed a tiny bit more than usual with the winners.
A tiny bit more. So we went through and we picked 10 of the most popular categories, and we picked who we wanted to win versus who we thought would win. And you picked 70% of the ones you picked as the ones you wanted to win. And again, there's a caveat. This is, of course, picking among those the Academy nominated. So we're picking among 5 typically, sometimes 10. So we're limited. But a lot of your films won, man.
Yeah. No, I was surprised. I mean, I'm super happy, especially like the ones that I wanted to win. Not like the ones that I was thinking, like, well, if the Academy is thinking about this, maybe they're going. It's like, no, I feel like they rewarded pretty sane choices. It was not like the Everything Everywhere All at Once year or Coda. It was. They were solid. Coda. But yeah, let's go over every category. So let's start with Best Cinematography. I wanted Nosferatu to win, but The Brutalist won. And you wanted The Brutalist to win. That it won, but you were thinking that it was going to win Dune Part 2.
And that was under the theory that they would give Dune one Oscar, and they did. It was just like...
But not that one.
It was like mixing or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't see Nosferatu, so I couldn't vote for that, but I can't complain about The Brutalist.
Yeah, I mean, at least I didn't watch The Brutalist, but at least like watching the trailers, it felt like, this can be a very solid choice. And a bit more direct, I guess.
Will you watch The Brutalist after last night's ceremony?
I will answer after we go over all the categories.
All right. All right, next. So, Best Supporting Actress. Jose, you wanted... I can't say this with a straight face. I'm going to try. So, you wanted Ariana Grande to win an Oscar. You also thought she would win, whereas I wanted Isabella Rossellini to win, and I thought Felicity... I almost said Huffman. No, she's done. I thought Felicity Jones would win. We were...
And who won?
We were completely wrong. Zoe Saldana... won for Emilia Perez.
Yep, she did. So, one category that we're not going to be discussing is Best Song, that Emilia Perez also won with El Mal. That is a movie composed by some French lyricist and songwriter, whatever, that is sung in Spanish, and even like the small snippet that they had from that woman when they were interviewing her about the song, it was like, oh, I really love Spanish for pop songs. It's like, it sounds so cool. It sounds so nice. I feel weird that you're categorizing another language and you're writing another language, but it explains a lot about why it's such a piece of shit. But I played the video clip of that song to my boyfriend. And my boyfriend says, like, look, probably the movie sucks, this song is very bad, but I cannot criticize Zoe Saldana. It's like she's giving it all. Oh, she's rolling with this insane premise, and she's putting all of her energy
Yeah,
into it.
she looked like she was born for it's not musical theater, but for what, musical film? Like, she looks supernatural. I was impressed with her.
Yeah,
Yeah, good
yeah,
for her.
yeah, and it was a very bizarre number, but it's like he played it pretty, I don't know, convincing. That I felt it's like, okay, this is insane, but she's taking you for the ride, and from that perspective, it's like, okay, yeah, there is merit, not to what is on the screen, but what she's trying to do.
So I didn't see all of the supporting actresses that were nominated, including Ariana Grande. I didn't think I thought Zoe Saldana was pretty good. I commented in the previous episode I'm not the best judge of acting performances, but again, I'm not mad about this award.
Yeah, I mean, I'm mad because it's Emilia Perez and I don't like it. But from objective perspective of is she the best of the three actresses? Yes.
You, all
Of the
joking
female
aside, you
actresses.
really did think that Ariana Grande did a good job in Wicked. Do you think that Zoe Saldana did a better job, or sorry, which one do you think did better?
I mean, the problem, what I was telling to my boyfriend is like, they're always like one of the acting roles. I had the feeling that every year goes to a one-off. You know, that the complete movie is not that special, but it's like there is someone that does a lot with what they are giving. Is that I think that Ariana Grande was given like something okay. I mean, it's the original play, it's the original Broadway play. It's not going to be like demanding a crazy amount of her, but she does a really good job and she sings pretty well. So from that perspective, it's like, hey, this is a solid job, even a better job than I was expecting from Ariana Grande in a solid movie. What Zoe Saldana does is like, hey, what you are giving on the script, it's not much. It's not that good, but she is doing her best. So it's that usual one-off weird like Oscar that is hard to predict and it's very hard to analyze because you look at the rest of the movie, it's like, can you really separate Zoe Saldana skill performing versus the third that she is in?
That was my recollection as well, is that she was just kind of asked to be exasperated the entire film, and that was it. Okay.
She does it okay, I guess.
Sure.
It's fine. It's like I cannot really compare her because I cannot be objective.
All right.
I'm going to be 100% honest. All right, let's just move on. Next category, Best Actress. That I was surprised that it was almost the last.
They
Oscar
did a
that they
weird
gave.
order. They did like screenplay super early. Anyway,
Yeah. And they did like they always start with one of the supporting roles as a way of okay, we're starting here. Best Actress, I think that it was more because of how many people were like between several of them, that it was like very anticipation, very hype category, So I wanted Mickey Madison to win, but I actually thought that Demi Moore was going to win, and you also wanted Mickey Madison to win, but you also thought that Demi Moore was going to win. And who won? Mickey Madison.
hell yeah.
Yeah, this is like a super deserved movie. Super deserved award for Mickey Madison, I feel.
I was so excited, and actually, for those of you that were watching this on Hulu, Hulu cut out right before all of this won. So thank you, Jose, for texting me that Mikey won.
Yeah.
I actually later watched her acceptance speech on YouTube, and I was just blown away that the woman who accepted the award was not Honora at all. She was just a different human being, and I was like,
Yeah.
she's a chameleon, and she deserves that Oscar.
Yeah.
So good for Mikey
Yeah.
Madison.
Yeah, even like the role, yeah, because I think that's a really good call out. That when you're looking her growth as the character's growth across the movie, is like she has a lot of nuance, as we were saying. It's like you can take it as a bit of a one-dimensional character, like for the first act and part of the second act when she starts like just scrambling, and then like the third act is like a complete different, a complete different no, but it's a bit more of an evolution of her character. And what we saw on the stage, it was like the sweet, nice girl. I felt that is like, holy shit, like the transformation that she actually did. I want to see her in more stuff.
Yep, agreed. Because she is not a sweet, nice girl in Anora for a second.
Oh no, she's not. But it makes me feel like I was telling my boyfriend, it's like she's going to have a good career. It's like I think that she deserves. She winning this Oscar, being recognized at this point, is not like Anna Paquin getting recognized by the piano. You know, I think that is like, hey, you are like at the perfect spot. It's similar to Emma Stone being recognized for Berman. That is like, oh, you may have like really good roles ahead of you.
Yep. I can't wait to see more from her. Well deserved award.
Yep. And I think that probably there was like a really big temptation on the Academy for just giving it to Demi Moore, as they have done like other times into, this was an okay role, but it's a character, it's an actress or actor like towards the end of their career, so we should recognize them. And that was my fear. That's the reason why we both say that it's like, oh, probably would win. Demi Moore would win, because what other big role she may have? Maybe this is like a bit of a reappearance for her career, a resurgence for her career. I doubt it.
And honestly, I would have been fine with it. That's the way the Academy behaves sometimes, and Demi Moore is pretty good most of the time. But I'm much happier with Michael.
I don't agree. I think that she's okay. To be completely fair, I have never seen like anything with her that I would feel like, oh, this was great. She was a bit more of a, hey, it's fine. It's cool. Mm. I think that Fernanda Torres was significantly better than Demi Moore.
I would agree with that, especially in the substance. Good Lord.
No, I mean like Fernanda Torres? The one from I'm Still Here?
Yes, I'm saying, especially Demi Moore's performance in the substance, yes.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, and that's like what we were comparing. So I was surprised that they could be objective and separating the trajectory, that this was not The Departed situation. That I still like, I still think that it's a good movie, but it's not Scorsese's best.
No, it's not.
Okay. Hey, should we move on to Best Supporting Actor?
Yes, so this was quite an interesting category. So Jose thought that Jeremy Strong was going to win. He wanted Kieran Culkin to win. I thought and wanted Edward Norton to win, although, full caveat, I had seen almost none of the performance nominated in this category. Ultimately, Kieran Culkin won.
Yep. I was really surprised. As I was telling you, is that I don't think that this was a hyper-demanding role for him.
Yeah.
Because I think that he's one character. So this is an Oscar that could have been like, for Kieran Culkin, or for actually the casting director.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. We texted about this during the ceremony yesterday, that he kind of plays the same person over and over. But if at the very least, if you look at him in Succession, at least he's like a really, really mean version of the sardonic asshole, or the jokey sardonic asshole. There's range. You see.
But it's always the sardonic. And he is also like a sardonic, but inside he's suffering, That is, okay, it's fine. It's really well played. If I hadn't watched Succession before, probably would be like more impressed. In this case, I just felt it's like you do like pretty well, but it's not so different. It's not like Mickey Madison playing this.
I'm fine with Kieran winning because it means at some point Keanu Reeves can win for John Wick, and I'm good with that.
Yeah. All right. Should we move to the next category?
Yes.
Yeah. So Best Actor, I wanted Ralph Fiennes to win, but I thought that Timothée Chalamet was going to win. And you also wanted Ralph Fiennes to win, but you expected Timothée Chalamet to win.
Yep.
And who won? Adrien Brody for The Brutalist.
When they announced Adrien Brody, I was honestly in shock. I felt like this was so obvious, and I texted you Like, I don't know why I didn't. I mean, I did see this coming. I talked about this after I was walking out of the theater with my husband, so I don't know why I didn't pick this.
Yeah.
You did point out you had the fucking excuse. You didn't see the movie. Whatever.
The funny thing is that we went to the theater on Friday night, and a friend of mine that came with us is that he actually said, I went to watch The Brutalist. And I asked him, did you like it? He's like, eh. He was like a bit like, nah, it was fine, but I think that Adrian Brody's presence on the screen is amazing. Is that he's really good. I think that he is the best part of this movie by far, and I wouldn't be surprised if he wins an Oscar on Sunday. And for me, it's that this comment on my brain, it was like whoop, like going away until he actually was like, oh yeah, he told me. My friend told me that he was going to win, and I completely ignored him. Now, it was a bit of a roller coaster because when he won, I think that we were testing. I said like, well, I guess that I will have to watch The Brutalist now. And then he went into a 3 to 5 minute speech.
And the ego on him when he was like, I've been here before. I was like, fuck you, dude.
Yeah, it was a bit more. It's like, I don't know how, but you have actually like just reduced the likeliness of me watching this movie at 95%.
When Hulu cut out, I wanted to masturbate myself just a little bit on Twitter, seeing people's outrage to the broadcast cutting out, and everyone was blaming Adrian Brody's speech going too long for them cutting out, and I really enjoyed that. And you and I were texting about how we wanted to like Adrian Brody, but then he just talks, and he's annoying. And I love the underdog story. I think I was telling you that Adrian Brody thought his career was over. He wasn't getting work anymore, and then he got this role, and he got another Oscar, and it's like a great story, and then he just bores everyone to tears with his speech. So
it's not only like about like boring to tears, that I agree. It's boring to tears, but it's also like the cockiness.
Yep. It's
on the dialogue.
Insufferable.
Yeah. So a bit of a disappointment. I think that probably that was the war. There were a couple of really bad speeches.
Yes.
Let's just leave it there. Yeah, but this, I think that it was like the most on the big categories. I would say that this was the worst.
Deserved. Great performance. Could have done without the speech. Thank you, Adrian.
Yeah. I think that towards the end is when he started like just touching on more interesting stuff, you know. But it was more like, dude, when you're like just spending like 2 minutes for just self-congratulate yourself and just like rubbing it on the face, it's like, oh, do you think that you're going to be like shutting me off? Who do you think that I am? Do you think that I'm like the best documentary short winner? No, I'm the best actor. You cannot do that.
No, yeah, no. He's not going to win any more Oscars after that speech.
Well, he didn't slap someone. So let's just say that at least he's...
That's true. Anything's possible if you're not Will Smith.
Exactly. Hey, so let's just move to Best Adaptive Screenplay.
All right. So I think I've mentioned this. My theory is that the adapted screenplay and original screenplay categories are the true Best Picture categories, or at least that's where the Academy recognizes them. So in the adapted screenplay category, Jose wanted Conclave to win, and he thought Conclave would win. I wanted Anora to win, and I thought A Complete Unknown would win. Ultimately,
sorry, you didn't... No, I mean, you actually adapted, it was Emilia Perez.
Yeah, I wanted Emilia Perez to win, and I thought A Complete Unknown would win. And because Jose guessed fucking every category right, Conclave won. You got both of these, who you wanted to win and who you thought would win.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought that is this is such a no-risk script to pick. You know, it's super well adapted. It's like super engaging. Like, I cannot look away. I was actually talking with the friend that told me that, Adrian Brody was amazing in The Brutalist. He actually started watching Conclave, and he told me it was so boring. And I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Is that this was, for what it was supposed to be about, the most surprising script for being like engaging. I would have never expected this script to be so engaging.
It makes sense if I had not that I would have guessed it, but it really does come across as a film in novel form. So like Yeah, it makes sense that it was the best adapted screenplay, although I
Yeah.
didn't guess it at all. Is it written by the same guy who wrote, sorry, the book? The same guy who wrote Silence of the Lambs?
Maybe I remember like just checking it and being probably surprised about what else they directed. Robert Harris.
Oh, no. He did Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, right? And Munich, and yeah. Anyway, he's more political thriller than.
No, Munich was good.
No. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm totally fine with Conclave winning that category. I wouldn't have guessed it. I obviously didn't guess it, but it's a great film, good script.
Yep. Right, I'm moving to best original script. I wanted Anora to win, but I thought that The Substance would win, and you wanted Anora to win, but you thought that The Brutalist would win. And actually, who won was Anora.
We just kept getting pleasantly surprised last night. Anora really came through for us.
Oh, yeah.
It deserved it.
Yeah, and we discussed when we were talking the other day, when we were doing like our predictions, is when I started like just connecting the dots about like how impressive the script of this movie is. Because it's not like Tangerine or the Florida Project that is a bit more of a straightforward story. It's like he actually went with this crazy idea of, hey, I'm doing like 3 acts, each one of them is a different genre, there is like big character development, and at the end there is like a humongous payoff because people are going to get attached to what is happening on the screen. That's not something that someone like, for example, Aronofsky could pull.
That's because nobody is as daring as Aronofsky.
Well, or yeah, sure. Let's just leave it there. This is not about Aronofsky. But yeah, I was like super surprised on them like picking it up. I thought that they would go with The Substance from their perspective. It was like, there is a message here. No, it didn't happen.
So obviously, The Substance lost in this category, but what did The Substance win for? It was makeup and hairstyling. Okay.
Yep, yeah, and makeup was amazing. Is that there were no special effects. It was like the classic. It was like the thing, basically, what we were discussing about. Like, dude, these were all practical special effects. There was no like computer stuff. It's still like pretty impressive. It's a bit of a pity that they didn't win anything on the larger categories, but I think that Anora is vastly superior when it comes to the screenplay.
Especially, I want to keep talking about Anora, but for a horror film to be nominated for 5 Oscars, that's pretty rare.
Yeah, pretty impressive. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to Best Director. Jose really wanted Sean Baker, director of Anora, to win, but thought that Coralie would have won for The Substance. I'm not going to try her last name. I don't remember. I wanted Sean Baker also to win, but I thought that Brady Corbet would win for The Brutalists, and ultimately, Sean Baker won for Anora. Which we cheered really loudly in my house for that.
We also did too. There were several like clapping moments in my house, and just like screaming a tiny bit about like, I don't remember the last time that I watched the Oscars and I had this reaction. It's like maybe like the Moonlight one, that a bit more like, what the? Okay, that's great.
I think at least we were texting at that point, and at least on my end, I was a little bit confused because at least I was used to complaining at that point, and I was like, well, I guess it gets it right sometimes. At that point in the broadcast, it was actually very nice and a little bit funny because Sean Baker had been up so many times that she was like, but in that moment, it was actually Quentin Tarantino who gave him that specific Oscar, which was very nice, especially considering the fact that he cast Mikey Madsen in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So there was like a full circle moment where Sean Baker was really respect Tarantino. I really liked that little Hollywood moment there. So it was extra nice.
Yeah. And then one thing that I could say, Sean Baker, I think that he went 4 times to pick up.
Alone?
I think that is... Yeah. Well, on the 4th time, he wasn't alone. But I think that it was the first time that one person received 4 Oscars for the same movie in the same year.
Good for him.
Yeah. And one thing that I was telling also my boyfriend is like, if I compare with everyone else that gave a speech, is like they were like better and worse. But he felt like his movies. He felt like heartfelt, like honest. That is like, dude, I want to be friends with this guy.
Yeah, he felt really what's the term? Like there's a term.
Ernest.
Photorealism, that's not what it is. What cinema verite. It just felt like real life. Like he wasn't acting, he just got up there. Like he felt like a natural in front of the camera.
Yeah, but also at the same time nice.
Yeah,
Because
like
of the people
genuinely
like
nice
they
guy.
are solid. Yeah, it's like it's not only about like, hey, you feel authentic, because we have seen authentic sometimes going in pretty wild directions, But it was like felt authentic and heartfelt at the
Yeah.
same time. I mean, more like his movies that I felt is like, oh, okay, I see where this is coming. It's because you are like that, and
I
it's
did feel like I
amazing that
wanted
you
to be
actually.
friends with him.
Yeah, yeah. I'm super happy. When they were doing the in memoriam, like this year, that of course they ended with Jim Hackman as he died like
The
recently,
most
but they had
recent.
like David Lynch. Yeah, they also had David Lynch on that sequence, and I was telling, well, they were like 5 minutes or whatever. At the 4 minute mark, I was like, wait, they're not going to be adding David Lynch here. And I think that my boyfriend is like, okay, would that be weird? And I think that I say, it's like, well, he's only the greatest American director of all time. So, yes, it would be weird that they don't mention him. But I would say that I don't say that Sean Baker is ever going to get to that level, but I think that he's going to have like a really good career moving forward. I mean, he has a really good career up to this point, but I think that there are going to be more eyes like paying attention to what he does. So as long as he keeps like his indie film like message, and freedom of creativity, I think that he's going to have like really good stuff.
I respect your optimistic, look towards the future, but we were in this exact moment with Alan Ball and American Beauty in the late '90s, and then he just never did anything ever again. So
let's just say I don't think that Sean Baker is going to be director a Marvel movie next.
neither did Alan Ball.
No, but I'm thinking about the director of Nomadland, for example. That I was thinking, oh, maybe this is going to be interesting, and he's going to keep doing like more indie stuff, because this one is not bad. I don't think that it's as good as winning best movie, but it's not bad. And she went and did a Marvel movie.
What
And
did
it's
the
just like me a
director
bit
of
of
Crash go on to do?
I assume, well, let's just leave it there. Let's not talk about that. Let's forget about that choice. So, Best International Film, I wanted I'm Still Here to win, and I thought that I'm Still Here was going to win. You wanted Emilia Perez to win, but you thought that I'm Still Here would win. And who won? I'm Still Here.
Yep. Can't complain about that. It makes sense. 100% sense.
Yeah. For me, is that this was a very solid pick. I didn't watch the rest of them, but this was like one of these movies that we discussed a tiny bit about, like, hey, the message that it has, it can be like important right now. It's like not even like what the movie was giving us, but also like what was like the social reality around like how it was making like people from Brazil reflecting on what happened. Did we get like the closure that we deserve? So I think that it was like pretty solid.
I did find it interesting that the Academy chose to ignore the after nominations. I think every single film that dealt with race.
Sorry, for what?
For giving awards. There were a lot of race films, a lot of trans issue films, and they ignored all the race films, recognized some of the trans films, and then, I just found it interesting. Especially since 5 years ago was 5-ish years ago was the year that like no people of color were nominated, and so there was this big refocus. And
yeah, no, I think that that's a good change, I would say.
No. I think they were moving in the right direction. So this year I expected them to focus more, and they nominated some really good films. Anyway, that's all.
Okay. So we go over Best Picture?
Yes, Final category, Best Picture. We had the exact same picks. Both of us wanted Anora to take home the big prize, and we both thought The Brutalist would. Ultimately, I'm sure everyone knows at this point, but Anora took home the final Oscar, the big prize, Best Picture of the Year, the fifth. So, right, it took home its fifth and 5 out of the 6 Oscars it was nominated for.
That's an incredible percentage.
Yeah. I'm really, really happy the Academy took its job seriously this year for the first year in a long time.
They took it seriously. Okay. I love it.
They did their jobs.
Yeah, for once they actually were not joking around. But actually I thought a tiny bit about it. Honestly, that there was a second when they gave to Zoe Saldana the best Oscar, that I was concerned that something that was going to happen. And maybe this is a change on the Academy. Historically, they didn't used to watch, the members, they didn't used to watch most of the nominees. And then they would go a bit by intuition.
Yeah.
So I just thought that it's hey, Emilia, after seeing Zoe Saldana, I was oh, Emilia Perez may actually receive a lot of the, I didn't watch it, but I heard about the PR campaign, and this about a trans issue, so let's just vote. So until Sean Baker didn't win Best Directing, I was a bit afraid of, is there going to be a twist here? When Sean Baker won Best Director, and then Mickey Madison won Best Actress, I was okay, this has to be Anora.
Yeah, it would have been really weird had it not been Anora if it won everything else. But it wouldn't have been surprising, to be honest. The Academy does all sorts of weird shit like that. I mean, it happened with Moonlight, right?
The Damien Chazelle won?
Didn't La La Land win almost everything, and then Moonlight won Best Picture?
I think that it was a bit of spread between both of them, so...
I got it.
We could just compare them, but in this case, it was clear that these were the two favorites, and I think that this year was Anora was the winner, was the favorite, clear, for the Academy, and then there were a bit of a spread among the rest. Is that The Brutalist won 3 Oscars, Emilia Perez won 2,
It's very interesting because I would have to go back and check, but didn't the Brutalist clean up at the Golden Globes? I think it won 7 of them.
Oh wow. Okay.
Anyway, good year for the Oscars. Well, I don't know if we're completely done, but I do have 2 questions to ask before we wrap up completely.
No, good for the Oscars. There were cheerings at my home when they said Anora at the end.
Yeah.
I was almost in tears. Oh my God. It's I am surprised that the Academy is actually agreeing with me.
So now that the award season is over, will you be watching The Brutalist? You have to answer now.
So when it's released in streaming, and I can watch it over the course of 2 days, maybe. It really depends if I have forgotten the showmanship of Adrien Brody.
Okay. And the other question is, I'm not asking you if I should watch it. I'm asking you if I were to watch Wicked, what do you think my opinion of it would be?
That you will hate it as any other musical except Emilia Perez and Dancer in the Dark.
You think I wouldn't enjoy it, even as a guilty pleasure?
No, I don't think so, because it's a very traditional Broadway musical,
right.
So it's did you like Chicago? For just mentioning one.
I didn't hate it, but I didn't particularly like it.
Yeah, I think that you will walk away with in the best case, a bit of a meh, whatever. Is one more Broadway musical adapted. So.
All right. Well, if you ever end up actually watching The Brutalist, I'll watch Wicked. Until next time, everyone.
Okay, bye.